Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the March 3rd Public Art Committee, March 3rd, 2026 Public Art Committee. I call this meeting to order at 4:32. Thank everybody for being here. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to the Chair of the Arts and Culture Commission, David Small. So thank you for being here with us today. We are going to jump right into things and start with public speakers. But before that, I do want to make sure why everybody is here, and we have all the public speakers here so that they can pass this information. I'm going to turn this over to Lynn Reed for a quick announcement.
So quickly, just to let everyone know that Public Art is finalizing a date for a special called Arts and Culture Advisory Commission about public art. So if you're interested in information about how the public art process works, this will be the place to come to get that information. Our tentative dates will either be the 28th of April or the 29th. And as soon as we get that finalized, stay tuned. We will let you know so you can learn more about Dallas's public art process.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. So we're going to hop into public speakers today. We're going to start, I'm going to just read a few rules and procedures. When you come to the microphone or if you're online, when you speak, please state your name and address for the record. Address comments to the presiding officer rather than individual public art committee members or staff. Speakers may not refer to a public art committee member by name. Observe the same rules of propriety, decorum, and good conduct applicable to public art members. Making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing committee will result in the removal from the room for the remaining of the session of the meeting, and the person shall be barred from further audience before the Public Art Committee during that session. Again, we're talking about art, so I'm going to assume we're not going to go there, but only one person may approach the microphone at any one time, and only that person at the microphone will be allowed to speak. And each public speaker will have 3 minutes total to speak. So I think we're going to start with Holly Smith. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Good afternoon. My name is Holly Smith. For those of you that I haven't met before.
Is the microphone on?
Yeah, I'll try to project louder. My name is Holly Smith, and I'm an artist that lives in Elmwood, which is a neighborhood in Oak Cliff, and I am part of a neighborhood group called Elm Art Collective, and we are bringing more art into our community by creating a teeny gallery trail. The Teeny Gallery Trail was inspired by Juliet Whitsitt in Austin. She's an Austin artist who put together 4 rotational art boxes that now reside along the Trail Conservatory. And also they're now moving into the parks and into their nature preserves. And so we looked at this idea and we were inspired, and we thought, what would this look like in our own neighborhood? And so that's where we have started the Teeny Gallery Trail, which is going to be rotational exhibits in 5 custom-built art boxes. We partnered with Parks and Recreation and are able to put these boxes in the Elmwood Parkway Park and also along the Elmwood Park Trail. So we have 2 exhibits, rotational exhibits that are planned during the year to start off with. There's some guiding principles that we're using to, to help guide us along the way. One of them is like we want to bring more delight into the neighborhood. Another is this is going to be a shared resource. So we want to be able to partner with local businesses, schools, and be able to put together ancillary like events that are surrounding this opening exhibits that we have each year. And I just wanted to say thank you to the Arts and Culture for the Arts Activate grant. It's very helpful to be able to lift this off the ground and be able to get the funding that we needed to start this. And if there's any questions, be happy to take them later outside this. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Okay, the next speaker, John Putnam.
My name is John Putnam. I'm a resident of District 10, and I'm here to speak on the Law Enforcement Training Center project. So I just have a couple of kind of confusion, some clarifying questions about this. One is, what is the nature of this project if it's a piece that is not going to be accessible to the public in any meaningful way? Even if it's outside in a pavilion as it's been proposed, that's still going to be for people that go onto a campus that, while yes, a public university is still private in many ways. You can't just go into a public university for any reason at any time. They have their own police force and can kick people out. It's not truly accessible to the whole public. It's also very far from most people. But it's a project that implicates everybody because police impact everybody, and yet it's not accessible. So I think first and foremost, I'd really like this project canceled. But secondly, what is the nature of it being a pavilion? What does that mean? Because it kind of sounds like if it's not going to be like, what's the artistic integrity of that? How is that going to represent the things that the survey asks about? For instance, the survey asks about feelings like hope and optimism or professionalism and resilience. And then themes like history, right? How is a pavilion going to portray that? And how is the artist going to be able to meaningfully talk about those themes? And also when we talk about those themes of history and community, whose communities and whose history? Is it going to be the history of indigenous people and slaves, which police were quite literally created to terrorize in this country? That is the history of policing in this country. Or is it going to be the history of people that are still terrorized by police to this day? Particularly in law enforcement, we're seeing with ICE and the questions about DPD cooperation with ICE in the community, that police still are largely target Black and brown communities. This training center isn't going to be there to train people to go after white collar criminals, are they? Or is it? So what kind of history do we want that to portray, and how is a pavilion going to send a message? Because art can send a really powerful message. So yeah, ideally, I think that it's a little ridiculous that this is considered a public art piece and using public funds for it. But I'm also just have questions around the nature of this project and who's going to be represented if it does go through. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Putnam. Next, we will go to our speakers online. Is Nora Soto online?
I'm here.
Great, thank you. Ms. Soto, you may start.
My name is Nora Soto, and I am a resident of Dallas in District 4. My address is 1418 Clark Street.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I need your camera on in order for you to be able to speak. Those are part of the guidelines. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. My name is Nora Soto. I am a Dallas resident from District 4. My address is 1418 Clark Street, Dallas, Texas 75203. I'm here today once again to express my opposition to the public art installation proposed for the new police training facility. I recently received the survey provided by this committee to obtain feedback from residents in Dallas as well as UNT students on campus. Some of the examples of the themes we were given to choose from, as John mentioned earlier, are community, safety, respect, connection, hope, inclusivity, and resilience. I would like to know how this committee can possibly believe that any of these themes could be associated with a police force. A police force that not only has committed atrocities for decades under their own racist agendas, but now have joined forces with ICE to disappear our neighbors and separate our families. Not to mention that the public being asked for their input regarding a project that will most likely never see, is deceptive and done purely for optics, which is usually the Dallas way. We demand that this project be canceled and that the funds stay within the arts budget to be used for art installations that the public can actually see and interact with, projects that will beautify underserved spaces and inspire them to live within the themes mentioned in the survey. There are so many other things that $463,000 can be used for other than a public art installation that is not public within a space that is not accessible, such as grants to artists, as just like the one that Holly was mentioning, the Arts Activate grant. There's so many other grants that could be funded with these $463,000. There is so much more that you can do for artists living in Dallas so that they can stay in Dallas, work in Dallas, and beautify Dallas even further. You can look into perhaps a basic income for artists, such as other cities in the country have done, and those programs have been very successful. So just maybe expand your imagination a little bit as to what this could be. Maybe push back against the ordinance that is forcing you, quote unquote, forcing you to have a public art installation within a police training facility. Like, please just like think of, like, just think outside of the box that you have to live in as city employees, as being part of this committee. I know you can do better. I believe in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Sam Williams. Is Mr. Williams on the line?
Hello. Sam Williams, District 9, 4646 Amesbury. Also speaking on the allocation of public funds for the pavilion at the training facility in South Dallas. Some speakers already mentioned a lot of good reasons or considerations around the facility. I also like to recommend that there are other opportunities in that immediate area, both in District 3 or District 8. There are many parks in the area: Singing Hills Park, Alta Mesa, Glendale, many that could use more public art, more even a pavilion perhaps, to increase or encourage families to go there and visit there. So I think not only are there outside the box options or other things to pursue that could provide life and sustenance for artists in Dallas, but even for residents in the immediate area, there are other opportunities immediately nearby, possibly more accessible, that could improve everyone's way of life. So thank you all, and I would also like to encourage us not to provide public funds on this facility. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Williams. Our last speaker is Ms. Barrett Johnston, who I think I saw earlier online. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Barrett Johnston, 3815 Lennell in District 6. I'm here today, as a few other folks are, to ask this committee to reconsider moving forward with the proposed public art project tied to the Dallas Police Department's new law enforcement training center at UNT Dallas. From what has been publicly shared so far, this project appears to exist largely because of the city's public art ordinance, which allows up to 1.5% of eligible capital improvement project costs for commissioned works of art. That formula has generated a roughly $463,000 art budget for this facility, but the existence of a formula does not necessarily mean every project automatically makes sense. At this point, residents still have very little clarity about what this artwork actually is. It's been referenced generally as a plaza or a pavilion, but not a lot of detail about the concept or design or how the public would meaningfully experience it. There's also, as has been stated previously, a basic accessibility concern. A police training academy is not a typical public space. Most residents won't feel comfortable walking into an active law enforcement training facility to view an art installation. Public art investments are generally intended for places where the public can freely gather and engage with them. At the same time, the training center itself is not expected to be completed until around spring of 2028, and public reporting indicates the project still needs to raise $89 million in additional funding to be fully built. So given that reality, it's difficult to understand why the city would prioritize advancing a nearly $500,000 art installation right now. If this project does continue to move forward, then at minimum, the process must be transparent. The city should publish the full engagement plan, including who is receiving the survey directly, how those distribution lists were created, how so-called community leaders were selected, and who will analyze and interpret the results. Residents deserve to know whether this is broad civic engagement or a curated feedback loop. And before any artist selection or contracting occurs, the city should commit to publicly releasing the full survey results and methodology, including response numbers and geographic and demographic breakdowns, so residents can see whose voices were actually reflected. Public art should reflect the priorities of the public it is meant to serve. Right now, many residents still have serious questions about whether this project does that. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Johnston. Okay, we are done with public speakers. And so we will move on to our first line of business, and we have an artist waiting for us. So we will come back to approving the minutes after. And I'm going to turn this over to Sabine now. Is that correct?
Unless he uses another email, it could be. Let's try it. I can start introducing the project. So if you want to admit Forrest already. Okay, excellent. Hi, Forrest. And then Forrest, if you could turn on your camera, please, so we can see you. There he is. Hey. And then try Ella. Maybe Matthew is under another email. That could be.
I just want to acknowledge we also have Commissioner Daniel in the room. And I'm sorry. Yeah, Brandon, who I've not met yet, but I was told you were walked in the door. So yes, and you are District 4. So this is, for those of you who knew Jesse Hornbuckle, this is Jesse's 2.0, 3.0, something new and improved. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Okay, so I'm more than excited. I'm really, 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 really excited to bring you the new project, and I hope you like it. I hope you recommend it, because this has been a long time coming. It's the public art project at Trinity Strand in the Design District in Council District 8. The artist that was recommended and selected by the selection panel is Matthew Mazzotta. But you know, I like to work with smart people. So we don't only have Matthew here today, but we also have Forrest online. And I'll explain in a moment that you are all wonderful, smart people to work with, but these two might just top the list for the next few months. So we have a budget of $320,000 for our project. That includes a $100,000 donation from the pit. So many thanks to them. The project was initiated in August 2024. And Adriana, if you could go to the slide 26, please. There we are. And we are in the artist selection and will go into contracting if you recommend us today. Completion is planned for fall 2027, and my liaison is Jerome. So next slide, please. The artist selected is Matthew Mazzotta. You all know him from Tampa Airport, the Flamingo. That's his work. That's what he's known for, but he does a lot more. So he teaches at MIT. The list of his accolades is literally longer than this meeting would last. He is known for meaningful narratives. He's known for working with the community and deep community engagement. He's a Guggenheim Fellow. He's a Smithsonian Fellow. He's a TED Fellow. He's a Loeb Fellow. From Harvard University. He has a BFA from the Art Institute of Chicago and a Master of Science in Visual Studies at MIT, where he teaches now. And what Matthew did surprised us all. We usually bring in community feedback through our service, through the office hours, so speaking to people, through dot exercises. And what I do is I give all this feedback to the artists. All the artists that were selected for the last round got that feedback. And usually what artists do is they try to hit all those points, all those community feedback points, to present an artwork that appeals to everyone. Matthew went the completely other direction. He totally zoned in on one of the community feedbacks. Just one person wrote something for the area, story that's meaningful, and he went down the rabbit hole and he researched and he researched and he researched. And that is how we came to meet Forrest. And Matthew, if you could turn on your camera, please, because I will hand over to you in a second. Forrest is the chairman, and I will not pronounce your last name because I'm totally going to butcher it. So he's the chairman of the Comanche Nation. And why that is relevant, we will hear from Matthew in a moment. He graduated, so here come the smart people again. He graduated from Stanford with honors with a Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy. He then received a JD degree, magna cum laude, and from the Queef University of Minnesota Law School. And prior to being elected to office, the chairman was an attorney and law professor. He served as the judicial law clerk for the U.S. District Court Judge Anne D. Montgomery from 2010 to 2012. From 2012 to 23, he was an attorney with the international law firm of Dorsey and Whitney. And in 2022, he joined the faculty at Mitchell Hamline School of Law. And that's also where he is now the assistant professor for law. And he's working with Matthew now. We had the last 2 months, this is why it took so long to bring this project to you. We had long discussions with the Comanche Nation and how we can involve them. And Matthew will explain why they are relevant to the project. And Forrest, if you please join in, explain whatever is interesting and what you need to add from your side. I hand it over to you too.
Sabine, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me? Yep, thumbs are up. Okay, super. My name is Matthew Mazzata, and we have Forrest here as well. Sabine, that was incredible how you introduced us. Incredible. Can I move to the next slide here? Great. So this is this project actually takes the work of people, I don't even know, generations ago in the Comanche Nation, and now it's ending up, a thread is going all the way through to a public artwork that's coming to the design district. Could we go to the next slide? Okay. Do you mind if we circle back to this, Sabine? I'll start with the project and we'll come back.
Not a problem. Forrest can talk us through that one. Yeah.
Excellent. So I just want to start off with the project itself. The project is called Native Plants. And Sabine was speaking about this community engagement report. And actually there was layers of history for this particular site. As many people probably in this room know, that particular area of the city has changed many times over. However, because it was the urban meeting the, the natural world of the river, and it's like almost up against itself as a border, I thought, okay, this is interesting. What can we do here? And so I found, and it was actually a number of people had written about this, the native tribes that had, inhabited and navigated all these lands. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting layer of history. What's going to be there? So anyways, I dug down until I found this thing called the marker tree. And I'll just describe, this project is based off the marker tree. I'll describe the materials really quickly here, and then we'll move into the concept of the marker tree. But this particular tree is, it's made out of, it's contemporary colors. It's the canopy itself is made out of a chainmail, a polycarbonate chainmail. That's architectural. It has layers of it like baskets, so you actually see through it. It changes all throughout the day in terms of its density, in terms of its translucency and all that. Each piece of the chain mail itself is translucent, but you can color it. And then the trunk itself is actually it's polyurea, which is a very strong, super strong, like kind of fiberglass. I shouldn't say fiberglass because it's much stronger than that, but that's what I use in all my works now, and they are all around the United States, indoors and outdoors. Could we go to the next slide? I'm going to give a little bit of context. This site here, actually this rendering doesn't show it, but the design district will be in the background. And as you cross this bridge that's in the foreground, you'd actually go to the river and over it. And so this marker tree is based off of, could we go to a couple more slides? I just want to talk about, yep, that's in the day, and go one more. So, you know, we know about Native costumes and clothing. We can talk about architecture. Many people talk about customs. However, I was struck that this might be about infrastructure. I've never heard about this, but the marker tree itself, can we go one more slide? Is a wayfinding device. And this has been somewhat hidden because many times this type of knowledge was being erased intentionally. But it was basically a product of taking a real tree, bending it over, allowing it to grow, nipping off the end, and having one branch climb into the air. And they bent them in the direction of resources, the easy place to cross the river or a gathering spot or whatever. But this was basically building infrastructure inside of nature. And so people could read this easily. They actually were hidden in plain sight for a long time. People have now done research, and that's why we have Forrest here, because he actually is part of the Comanche Nation. The Comanche Nation has been documenting it, and Forrest actually hooked me up with one of the authors of the books that I started reading and doing my research on. So his research, Jimmy's research, ended up fulfilling this project. But this project is called Native Plants, and it's based on the marker tree. It's actually a tree that's going to be, you know, pointed towards the river, but brought into this contemporary sense. Sabine, what other slides do we have in here? Just want to make sure I cover everything. This is a fast. So these things are all over. This just happens to be this particular one. I think it's deceased now, but it's been, you know, captured and documented. This is in Dallas County. Let's try one more slide, and then we'll talk about this partnership.
Yeah,
Or is
there's
that
one
the
more
end?
slide just from underneath. That's the last
Okay,
slide.
just from underneath, just from underneath. So actually, this is an interactive work that people will be able to touch. And at the site, there'll be a QR code. That QR code extends this project. I think this is why Sabine is so excited about this one. Is that not only is this something visual, you can come to it, you know, obviously the universal shade of a tree is there, done in contemporary style. However, this is a didactic piece, or it's a learning piece, let's say. That QR code will actually go to a Comanche Nation website, and Forrest will talk about this, but that's where they'll be able to speak about all this research that's been done on this marker tree that are all over Texas, actually all around the United States, and actually where their podcasts are as well. And so we've actually even spoken about, the author and myself, trying to speak about this on a podcast, just talking about how one person's work can influence someone else's work. And now we're actually seeing this, you know, come out in a totally new way. Sabine, how about we go back to that podcast and then.
Yeah, slide 29.
Yep, great. And Forrest, can I bring you in just to speak about our collaboration? And the things I just want to hit upon is like what we've done so far. And then also, I think we're working towards bringing an artist in for mentorship as well from the Comanche Nation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the committee. Sabine said, my name is Forrest Hadenippa, and I'm the chairman of the Comanche Nation. Sometimes people ask me what a chairman is. I guess it's kind of like the president or the governor or chief. You know, it's just the highest elected office that we have in our tribe. And it's a real honor, you know, for part of our shared history with the city of Dallas to have, you know, consideration for this project. I really enjoyed meeting Matthew and working with him over the last couple of months. The thing that I really enjoy about his description that he just gave is, you know, he talks about infrastructure, and to me it's really important for me and our tribe and our tribal members, because I think there's a lot of stereotypes out there about Native American people and, being primitive or uncivilized or different things like that. And I think, pointing to the ways that we built infrastructure to navigate long distances is really important on educating people, combating those stereotypes, and kind of just showing the history of the area. So I love the concept, and I'm very supportive of it. And I'm just really appreciative that they've then, involved the tribe itself. A big thing for Native American tribes, I think in general, is just reciprocity and respect. And that's where this podcast idea kind of comes in, is we were kind of talking about things, and I wanted to know what, we could get for the nation to be involved in this and have a little bit of reciprocity from the project. And in talking about it, we came up with the idea of having this QR code that would then link to our podcast, which is something that we've been doing for about a year. We're really proud of it. We spent quite a bit of our own resources building this studio, but the podcast is called Namatekwara, which in the Comanche language just means like Comanche talk. So it's the Comanche Talk podcast, but we cover everything on that podcast, from culture, history, to politics, like tribal politics, to tribal programs and services. And so the idea was that we could have a podcast that was dedicated to explaining both the history of marker trees and then talking about this project itself and how it came to be. And it would feature one of our tribal members who used to be our NAGPRA, if anyone knows what that is, but it's a cultural property law. He used to be our NAGPRA program director. His name is Jimmy Arterberry, and he's a scholar on marker trees. And when I was introducing him to Matthew, I told Matthew that he wrote the book on marker trees. And I think Matthew kind of thought I meant kind of metaphorically, but I actually meant literally, like the book that he used in his research, Jimmy Arterberry wrote. So it's kind of a neat story. And so we'll tell that story in the podcast, but also just, again, explain what marker trees are. You kind of have Jimmy talk about the history, their use. And so we're really excited about the possibility of this being there and kind of allowing people to kind of go from the real world to the virtual world, educate themselves on the Comanche Nation and our history. And like I said, I really appreciate the consideration, because so often it seems like Native American history gets pushed to the side. I mean, even right now, we're a tribe that's from Texas, but I'm beaming in from Lawton, Oklahoma, because we were pushed to Oklahoma during the reservation era. So I just really appreciate being included and considered for this project.
You. Now you all know why I'm so excited. And I open up the floor to you. Any questions for the artist and the chairman of the Comanche Nation?
So one quick little aside, or one important piece, is that this will also offer an education and an internship for one of the members, the artists who are members of the tribe, to be able to work with Matthew Matsata as a public artist, to learn that process. And also the Comanche Nation has been so kind, if this were to pass, to continue to work with us throughout the lifetime of this project. So, so there's a lot of really great opportunity here. And then I am now handing it for questions.
I just want to add the opportunity to work as an emerging or existing artist, and you will be able to talk to that as an artist. To work with someone like Matthew and learn the ropes of public art, which is a totally different animal from gallery art or any other type of art, that will catapult the career of this artist forward by at least 10 years in the industry. And I'm not joking with that. It's real. Questions?
Did I understand that Forrest is the president of the entire Cherokee Nation? Comanche Nation?
Yes.
The entire, wow, we are honored.
I'm not joking. I'm bringing you the best of the best.
See you online, but hold on for in the room real quick.
Sabine, can you say again what is the symbolic meaning of a
marker tree?
Marker tree, and then
Yeah, so the marker tree was used by the Comanche nations since the beginnings of time to basically, as a way of finding mark, towards where water might be, where a cave for shelter might be, where food might grow, any kind of resource. So it's literally pointing the way. And in our case, it will point the way to the former Trinity River in the design district.
And
Did you have a second half?
yeah, so and then another, if Matthew could speak to how it might change colors. Is it from reflecting sunlight, or maybe it doesn't change colors?
Matthew can talk about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So this one, you know, I'm in the world of public art, so you have to make it robust and you know, people can play on it and do different things. So we actually have the whole base of it. I call these things, well, in our studio, we call it a lollipop. It's basically something, the delicate stuff is up top, and then what's down below is super strong. But what's up top is a material I've been using, so it's out of reach. I can't remember. It's like, I think 13 feet above, but it's cane mail. This is a product that was actually produced for Lord of the Rings, believe it or not. Their costuming. However, the person who started it spun it out into an architectural material. Now it's covered buildings all around the world and wins all these awards. Super strong, lasts a long time. However, I started working with him. I said, hey, can we do some art projects? And I did a jellyfish for the San Diego airport. And so what happened with that is this polycarbonate rings, they're actually translucent. And so when sun hits it, it actually is more vibrant than something that's a painted surface. It almost glows like a jewel. So this will always change throughout the day. The actual, in this case, we have a more of a coral salmon on the bottom baskets. And as it goes up, it becomes more yellow. Those will be, you know, colors. However, they will change throughout the day depending on when the sun goes through it. And also the bunching, and this actually is a little bit of a kinetic work as well. Wind will actually play through here. So the colors will be subtly changing. They won't be like dramatically changing, but they will go from a, one color to almost like a glowing color when the sun hits it.
And the cane mail will move with the wind. So it's so fine and so elastic that that's the kinetic component of it.
Thank you.
Online, Hassani?
Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Hassani Burton, committee member from Dallas District 7. It was my privilege and great pleasure to have attended this selection panel process. I just wanted to personally thank and show my appreciation to Chairman Forrest for getting involved in this, being so gracious on behalf of the Comanche Nation, and hearing about your podcast and that QR code that's going to be a part of that. That's amazing to me. I'm big on preservation, culture, history, love architecture and infrastructure type of things. And to learn about this and to know that the city of Dallas is partnering with the Comanche Nation on this, it literally brings chills to me. And I'll say that to Matthew, who something I didn't know MIT did these type of things. My own kid is MIT bound, God willing, so I might be looking you up in a few years. But I want to commend you on the inspiration that came across this, because out of several very wonderful art pieces that were proposed, this for me by far was the standout because of the research and the history and the opportunity to learn more about our indigenous roots and ancestry here. And so this is now, Crockett Dog Park was one of my favorite pieces. But now seeing this is now going to quickly become my favorite public art piece, and I'm looking forward to seeing it completion. And if there's anything I can do to spread the word about this art piece and the great history and culture of the Comanche Nation, please let me know. And thank you guys for all this. As you all can see to my Madam Chair and fellow fellow committee members, I highly recommend passing this piece forward.
Thank you, Hassani. Vicky, did you have a question or comment?
Hassani said what I was going to say, so there's no need for me to add anymore.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm going to add one more thing about this. There is a document recommending that White Rock Hills actually has a marker tree that they are asking the state to recognize. So we were a little ahead of the curve with our recognition in the design district. So thank you all.
Are there any more questions, comments?
Right, so we can.
Forrest, Matthew,
Yes.
I thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here today. This really, I don't know, it makes me very emotional to have everything in one room. Thank you both so much. I will be in touch with you by the end of the week and let you know more. We're going to go through the ACAC after this meeting by the third week of March. Yeah, the 19th. So that's another committee that needs to recommend this project, and then we're good to go. So thank you
I
so
just
much
wanna
for
say
being here.
Thank you, everyone. This is really charming to meet everyone and to hear the response already. So, yeah, when I first found that the marker tree, like totally, like I'm like, is this real? And we had to find all these sources. And then the more I dug, I'm like, this is a history that hasn't been told, and it's gonna fit right here so perfectly. So I'm total chills when you guys are saying that it's fitting. This all I could hope for. And Forrest and I have already made a good partnership, and that's already been inspiring. So this is like a cool project that has all this new dimension to it. So for me, it's like a home run and a half. It's like, wow, it's a nice one.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
So I did also want to just tell the committee really quickly that the reason it did take a while to bring it forward is we wanted to vet this with the Comanche Nation to make sure that we had discussed imagery use with them and to make sure that they were on board with just the stories that we were going to tell.
And we also reached out to the Texas Historical Commission to make sure that we've got all our bases covered, because obviously the artist was not aware what impact this might have, but we really, really want to get this one right. And so we are super grateful that the Comanche Nation is working with us.
And real quick, I just want to say, very good job, staff, PAC staff. Very good on all of this, the engagement, the crossing the T's, dotting your I's, all of that, going through the selection panel process and finding out that you all were already way ahead of, that you wanted to make sure that this was done right, I commend you guys for that. These are the types of things that transform art from a nice piece to something transformative, and you all should be commended for your work for that.
Thank you, Hassani. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion for the recommendation for selected artists for Trinity Strand District Council District 6.
So moved.
Can you second it, please, Vicky?
Okay, second.
Thank you. Any more discussion or any discussion? Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Any votes against? Any abstention? Great, motion passes. Awesome. Okay, we are going to go back and look at the minutes from February 3rd. Has everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Great, motion passes. Okay, we are going to now talk about the recommendation to move Westmoreland State Skate Park Public Art Project Council District 1 from the research and development to the implementation phase.
So all these next ones that you'll be reviewing, you've already seen in the public art plan, or you've already seen as we've begun research. So these are all viable projects. We have funding from our partner departments, and they are ready for you to recommend forward. Do I have a motion to recommend Westmoreland State Park Public Art Project? Development. Thank you, second. Gretchen? Favor? Any opposed? Great. Motion passes.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think you all just had a vote and it cut out for all of
Oh,
us.
you know what?
Yeah,
Because
all
yes,
of us.
yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
let's go back.
we'll
Go
have to
back
take
up.
that vote
Let's
again.
Start over. Just for number 3. Okay, this is a recommendation from the Westmoreland Skate Park Public Art Project from Council District 1 to move it from the research and development phase to the implementation phase. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Great. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry, since we didn't do any discussion, but I have some questions that kind of it covers all of this process.
Great.
Do you want me to save it for the next discussion period, or do you
can
want me to
ask
ask now?
Yes, because then we can go through the next
Okay.
4. Yes,
Okay.
please
So
ask.
my quick questions is, one, how on average, I'm sure maybe everything is a little bit different, but how does a project get from, an idea to research and development? If staff could answer that question for me.
Yes, so most of these projects, if you'll look at them, are all in parks except for one, which is a library. So the park board, if you might recall, voted on these, I believe, last April. And so we were looking at them to see if they were truly viable projects, if there was enough funding to make it be a wonderful and fantastic art project, as you know, want to do. So, so we have worked with them. We have looked at the location to make sure there's an appropriate location within these things, these areas, and we have determined that these can move forward. Now, the Preston Royal Library project is a slightly different in the sense that it's a renovation. And so we've been working with the architect to make sure that there is it's actually kind of a tiny little library and kind of a strange little lot right next to the tollway, to make sure that there is an appropriate place for public art in the ways that we imagined it. So the research that we've done with the architect has determined that there are several locations in that temple-like mid-century building that could hold this artwork in the way we're imagining it. So the research has predicted that these are all great projects for us to move forward at this time, mainly because the 2024 bond is scheduled in this manner.
Okay. And so most or not all of these came from the 2024 bond, correct?
All
Or
of them did.
all of them did.
All
Okay.
of them.
All right. And so my next question is, would it be safe to say, Lynn, that a vast majority of the public art pieces, which, probably amounts to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and represents a lot of artists, work going into that, are all of these mostly in, like parks and public places like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
They
okay.
are.
I just want to sure. And then how does a project officially move from research and development? What gets it from research and development into implementation phase?
The review by you all.
Right. Okay. After you all have done all the hard work, we get to come in and say yes or no. Okay. All right. And then once a piece is in the implementation phase, it's kind of set on its pathway, correct? There's not really a going back and implementing that, correct?
In general, yes. So you would see what you saw with Matthew's presentation is the end of the implementation phase, where it's gone through the selection panel and there has been, a viable project presented. And that's the end of implementation is when we are
Okay.
in the selection process.
Okay, and then my last question to you, or I think it's a question, but is this process, because it is a public process of a public process, is this readily available on our website at all?
Yeah, I believe it is. The
Okay.
public art page is weirdly rich with information,
Yeah.
including the ordinance, et cetera. So, yes, there's reference material there, but you're always welcome to, call and ask me and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, and
Or
so
any of our team.
I just want to know essentially anyone who has, any questions about public art, the process and that kind of thing, that information is readily available, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. All right, I'm ready to vote.
Okay, so we are going to move on to the next one, which is recommendation to move Cotillion Park Public Art Project, Council District 9 from research and development to the implementation phase. Do I have a motion? Second? All in favor? Any against? Great, motion passes. Recommendation to move the Forest Adelia Public Art Project, Council District 10 from research and development to the implementation phase. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Great. Motion for a recommendation to move the Preston Royal Library Public Art Project, Council District 13 from research and development to the implementation phase. Motion, please?
Motion.
Second? Discussion? All in favor? Any against? Motion passes. Thank you. And finally, a motion for the recommendation to move Excel Park Public Art Project, Council District 14 from research and development to the implementation phase. Motion, please?
Motion.
Second? Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Great. The last motion there passes. Thank you all. Okay, yay. We are now moving to briefings.
So we're so excited to welcome Jill Manguson, who is the interim director of the Arts District, and she is here to brief us on some temporary public art that will be moving forward or a possibility or lovely for the World Cup. So Jill, what else do you want us to say about you?
Thank you. It's nice to be with you all. Needless to say, I'm thrilled to be talking about a temporary art project. I am fairly new, I think I'm day 33 as the interim executive director of the Dallas Arts District, but I've been involved with this neighborhood for a while. And so I'm not new to the block. And we have had a lot of conversations over the last couple of years. So I know this is a public meeting, but I'm going to use the 4-letter F word here that all the young kids are saying, and that is FIFA. So we are officially at 100 days out of the first games for FIFA here in our area. Our first official games are actually starting 100 days out from next week. But in that time at the Dallas Arts District, we have talked a lot about how are we relevant to our hopefully thousands and thousands of visitors that are going to be coming to our region. How do we make our culture shine during this time? And I'm very proud to say that as a collective 118-acre Dallas Arts District, needless to say, we're putting on our best show. So we have got incredible activities up and down the block. We have 4 signature events that are going to be blowing out of the water. And so I think we will shine in a big way. We're thinking a lot about what's happening at FanFest, when the games are. How do we bring those experiences to both our locals and our tourist and international friends and really bring Dallas to a very great cultural light. So in that time, we thought about, sure, we've got shows and we've got incredible exhibitions and a lot of things happening, but what if we were able to come up with something that was, doesn't matter whether you love art or not, doesn't matter whether you speak our language or not, doesn't matter. But this idea came to us, and I am thrilled to say that we are going to be bringing the Red Ball Project to Dallas during this time. This is going to be a Texas and Dallas world premiere. This is an artist named Kurt Perch, I want to say his name right, Perchke, who used to be from New York and now lives in North Carolina. You want to go to the next slide? He is an artist that has been doing this project for a while. This is not his first time. He's been in 48 cities around the world. He has done this project during Olympics. He has brought incredible things. And by the way, this will be his 25th year of doing this project. And again, we're pretty thrilled that this is a Dallas and Texas premiere. It is not lost on us that it's a big ball, but it's still public art. So we were thrilled when this idea came to us because we, again, tried to relate to how do we make art relevant for all of our communities during this time. If you want to go to the next slide. This project is really all about people. So what it is, it's a 15-foot ball. Yes, there's only one. And it squishes into interesting architectural spaces. So the artist sees this as a public art engagement. He comes to make a visit to the communities of which he's been engaged in, and he, through his own eyes, really kind of tries to imagine, places and spaces where this project could happen. The ball is touchable. You can throw your body against it. There's all sorts of ways to engage in it, and yet it's intended as obviously a temporary public art piece. We intend to bring this to Dallas for 10 days to 10 different sites. So it's a daytime activation that will appear and hopefully engage, again, all of our visitors and locals alike into this really exciting, vibrant way. I think our next slide, you can let's see the next slide. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. There you go. Let's go ahead and let's just look at some of these projects. I mean, just keep rolling. These are projects that have been done around the world. This gives you an idea of how engaging and exciting and fun that people can engage in London. I mean, in these types of projects. I mean, keep rolling. I mean, the visual is absolutely everything about this project. As you're rolling through, I'll tell you that kind of the fun of this project, and under the 25 years of Kurt really understanding how best to demonstrate this to a community, the fun is the fact that we will not announce y'all are going to ask me, this is a public meeting, I can't tell you yet the 10 sites that are going to be happening, but I can tell you that the 10 sites will happen in the Dallas Arts District, downtown Dallas, Bishop Arts, and Deep Ellum over the course of 10 days from June 19th to June 28th. We will have a press conference on June 18th. During that time that the artist himself will be obviously available to the press and media. We're also considering having a conversation with the artist in a location in the Arts District that would allow, again, more public engagement. And I will tell you, one of the things that excites me the most, yeah, you can keep rolling. That excites me the most is the fact that this is a way to explore the idea of what is public art. And I'm going to actually talk about the fact that as we announced this on February 19th, which is 4 months out of when the project's happening, and there was a comment online about this is public art. And I thought, this is great. We're now talking about public art and debating what public art is. So I'm as excited about bringing that kind of concept to our community, to engage our community, and to be able to share just pure fun with the Red Ball Dallas Public Art Project. So with that, I will just be available to answer any questions.
Questions? Oh, Jerome.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Jerome. Just from the photos, is the red ball all one size or is it
It
different
is,
sizes?
the ball itself is 15 feet. And what happens is that it actually deflates and then gets put into a space and inflates into, and there's actually, so Kurt comes along with another gentleman that has been working with him most of his 25 years. And there's a great science to this ball, and particularly in our warmer temperatures in June, we might be a little warm in June. There's a science to them actually ensuring that the size of it works exactly correctly. So they're actually testing and monitoring it at all times. I should also say we will be engaging local production crews. We will be engaging local staff to act as ambassadors for the art, so that when visitors come to see the art, they will be able to have a conversation and talk about the art itself. I should have also said, in the 10 locations that we're at, they're all obviously free and publicly available, and on private property. So we're not infringing on public spaces. We're still in private property, but completely open to the public.
Great. I'll get to some questions online. I do want to ask, is there plans to interact with artists and community artists?
So this artist, no, I mean, I should say, in the fact of this is kind of a singular project that is kind of comes as it is, a very simple concept with a big footprint. Like I said, we've talked a little bit about having this artist conversation, which would be engaging in with some of our local curators and talking about this public art. But I hadn't thought further about that, but now you make me think.
Okay.
How to do that.
Let's think.
Thank
Let's
you.
think. Vicky.
Hey, Jill, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I have
Vicki.
a question about locations, because you
Yes.
named the 10 locations, all of which have very rich cultural activity already. And have you thought at all about this being an opportunity to take that somewhere else that doesn't have quite that kind of robust cultural activity for people who would really, need to know that this is public art? I'm just concerned that we're doing the same thing in the same places for the same people.
So that is why when the artist came to town, he basically said, "Hi, nice to meet you, leave me alone." And so he was off to wander our city through his own eyes. It's the first time that he had seen our city. And so he and his production manager basically spent a week exploring our city through their own eyes. And then he came back and he said, "This is what I propose." So I believe you're going to be very pleased with some of the unexpected spaces. And again, the idea is to kind of reveal, he almost uses the word, the underpits of architecture, things that might not be expected. And that is exactly what he's bringing to us in the Red Ball Project Dallas.
So when will we know what those spaces are?
So June 1 is the official public announcement of those spaces. And I kind of thought about saying this to you all because this is a public meeting. It's part of the whole fun of it is the fact that we will be revealing those spaces on June 1 and then building a lot of anticipation for both our local visitors as well as our tourists at that time. But I'm happy to privately have conversations with any members of this committee in regard to those spaces ahead of time.
Great. Hassani, 1 second. I know I saw Marion.
I want to know. I do. I mean, I want to know, just based on what you said, it goes back to what Vicky said, the same places. So I just make sure that broader communities are included, because this is city money, right?
So our project is $107,000 to bring in. Our leading sponsor has been the Downtown Dallas Inc., and we are hopeful to also have support from the Office of Arts and Culture as well.
If it's in the right location. Okay, thank you.
Hassani.
That kind of covered my question. I think it's a very interesting, like what is art? But art compels conversation. a lot of times, and you know, maybe a little bit of debate and that kind of thing, is this is already doing. I like that, and I like that we are joining a conversation on a global scale. Like to see those, you know, beautiful, I love architecture. So see all the, you know, beautiful cities and architectures and skylines, to see this big red ball, and now for Dallas to be part of that, that's pretty cool. And I was curious as to where so the remainder of the funding or the support that you're looking for from the arts and culture part, how much is that? How much are you looking for from the city?
So our ask was between $25,000 and $30,000 from the city. In
Okay.
addition, we have also asked for funding from additional private benefactors as well as foundations. And those have been made and they're pending right now.
Okay, well, that's very cool, and thanks for presenting it, and thanks to Downtown Dallas Inc. for their contribution to bringing this here.
You had a question? Yeah.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you said the dates will start June 19th, correct?
June 19th.
Is there any thoughts or ideas about doing anything in concert with any Juneteenth festivities taking place in the city?
So with Red Ball Project, no, but on that day, we're actually holding Pride Block Party, which also honors Juneteenth. So that event has been happening for many years and oftentimes will fall on June 19th. And so so that is a collaboration between the Nasher, the Dallas Museum of Art, the Crow Collection at UTD, as well as the Dallas Arts District Organization. And that very, very much, I'm very proud to say that's an effort that has been going on for many years. And we have 30 plus community partners that are all being a part of that conversation, including our friends, all in the work of raising up the knowledge. We actually have talked a lot about the fact that we'll have a lot of visitors, ideally, here during this time that might not know what Juneteenth is. So we're looking at ways through that block party, which is called the Pride Block Party, to be able to elevate that story and to be able to tell that story. So we've got two things going on that day. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
And the last comment from Abraham.
Thank you, Jill, for presenting and having this project happen. And I think it's important for Dallas to be a part of this global conversation in addition to all the other things, good things we're doing. So thank you for having that happen.
It just goes without saying that we want to get this ball rolling and we're going to have a ball. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you today.
Thank you, Jill. We look forward to working with you and seeing where these pop up. Okay, we are moving on to the rest of our briefings. I'm going to ask, in the interest of time, that we run through and only talk about briefings that have something major, something that's changed since our last meeting 4 weeks ago today. I don't know what's next. Yeah, well, we can have it. Do we have another vote here?
No votes.
Oh, okay, so we have a review and update of the selection panel candidates that were submitted by all of you, I think. No?
There are no candidates.
I was like, what is?
So there are no candidates, but you know, we need to.
We need new candidates.
Yes, yes, please. We need, if you will submit names to us for our, to review, we can kind of have a rolling selection, but we do need new selection panelists. If you need an update on what the requirement for selection panelists, they have to have a background in art, architecture, or some kind of design to be on the selection panel. But if you will send those names to me or just me alone, then we can start compiling a list. And then we will also bring forward our old list. So if if someone's moved or is no longer with us in a really permanent way, we would like to make sure that they are no longer being called to serve in a selection panel.
And Lynn, remind us, do they have to be a resident of the city of Dallas?
They do not.
That is something different than serving on this committee or sitting on the Arts and Culture Commission.
Yes, and they also do not have to be a registered voter, which is also one of the requirements here. So send them to us. We'll make sure they're vetted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hassani, I see you have a question.
Yes. at our last meeting, and we said we were going to talk about this meeting. I think that's maybe some of the confusion, because we moved it up to this meeting. But I think you said you were going to send out an email to the committee members about what are, you know, the specifics for what makes a qualified candidate. If that was sent out, I missed it. Could you let me know what date? And if it has not been sent out, please send that out. And then my second question is, how long are we going to take nominations for selection panels? What's the time frame for this?
For selection panels, we want them sooner the better, but it's rolling. So if you send us, excuse me, 5 names and then you come up, you meet some people 2 months from now, you can put those names in as well.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, can we go to art project briefings, please? Or conservation and maintenance?
I'll make this the briefest of possible then. Friedman's has temporary plaques up right now until the permanent plaques come in. As you're aware, they were stolen. Parks Department, alongside with the Office of Arts and Culture, Public Art Team, and a couple other people are all working diligently to re-envision this area as well as get this back into the condition that it should be in. As you may or may not hear soon about the Texas Ranger, it has been relocated. Press release went out, I believe, Sunday night. And if you stick around long enough, there'll be a couple Dallas Morning News articles about it, but it's in a good, safe home and it is no longer just parked. So if you have any questions about this after you read all the articles, feel free to reach out to me. There will be a couple more tomorrow too, or tonight. Happy to make the announcement that the Always in Gear by George Tobolowsky donation with the foundation was poured last Friday. It's going to cure for 28 days, and then we will hopefully get this in sometime in the next, well, probably 29 days. We'll be probably installing this out at Fire Station 13. Firefighters are excited. I was out there last Friday with them. They were more than accommodating. Feel free to reach out for me if you have any questions regarding this too.
For Elmwood, I don't have any updates other than I need a liaison from this group. So if you are interested in volunteering for being part of this project, please let us know. Awesome, thank you.
Same for Westmoreland. If you are really curious and would like to participate as our PAC liaison for this project, please let me. Thank you.
Oh, same thing with Forest Odelia. Looks like we're going to be asking for a lot of favors tonight.
District 10.
District 10, this project is going to be like a renovation of an actual building. It's going to be converted into kind of a multi-purpose center for youth and the community there. So we're still really in the research and development, but we need a liaison as well.
I'll do it. Yeah, that's great. Unless somebody else really wants it, I'll do it.
I want nothing from you. I'm going to give to you today. So the second most favorite public artwork now. I want to invite you to the dedication March 27, a Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. We will have hot dogs for you. Bring your dog. I will have dog cookies there for them. The artist will be here and a lot of speeches. As you know, it will be fun.
Hey, quick question. Have you all considered reaching out to the Dallas Animal Advisory Committee for this dedication? Because I used to be on the committee and like
Not
we
the
love
animal
dogs there.
advisory, but I have animal services coming with dogs for adoption.
Okay.
That's similar?
I would recommend just sending a invite to the Animal Advisory Committee for the city of Dallas because the dogs are like everything on that committee.
Okay,
So,
I will do that.
And I've talked to the SPCA and they want to come out too, so. Bring your dogs. This is going to be a little interesting, crazy.
All your animals. We're not.
Your fish?
Anything.
I do have an update for Harry Stone Recreation and Aquatic Center. We did have our first panel meeting on the 19th of February. A short list was identified. All 3 of our artists have accepted to move forward in the competition, and we are now working to schedule those artist presentations with their proposals for April 2026 pending date confirmations. And so as soon as I have that, a date for you all, I will share that with you.
Yeah, so for Reversion, the update is that we have our open call in Coda Works until the end of this month. We are receiving applications, so we're excited about that. And we are forming the selection panel.
For Roland Parish, I am gathering information on this project. We may already have a PAC liaison to this project. So if you are the PAC member that has already wanted to work on this as a liaison, please let us know. If not, please consider volunteering as we are now going to begin engaging in community engagement.
Share small.
That's actually in our Cedar Crest neighborhood, kind of right down. In fact, it's on Cedar Crest, if I'm not mistaken. So I would certainly like to volunteer to participate and could give information to the residents about the progress, because everybody's wondering what in the world is happening. We've been given dates, and then the dates keep getting pushed further and further out in terms of completion, but it looks like they're moving some dirt now. So something's happening over there. They're putting in streets or trails or something over there. But I would certainly like to volunteer.
Great. Yeah, this is brand new to me. And so any and all information is welcome because, so I'll be working on this project. So any information that I can gather and so that I can begin the actual implementation of the project, I welcome that and thank you, Chair Small.
Put me down as a volunteer.
You want that one? I don't know. I'm brand new to it, so. Again, it's all brand new information. We'll make that change. I'll make that change.
I hope the park department knows where that park is.
So do I. Ooh, Tipton. So the artist and Adana, if you want to give me one more, there we go. So the artist is now about 80% complete with the fabrication painting of the pieces that will be installed at Tipton Park. We are very tentatively looking at early April installation, but as you all know, that is still it's a delicate dance. And so ideally she would like to install and be here for dedication, which is an even more of a delicate dance. So I'm working with her to see if that is viable. For right now, we know that she will be installing sometime in December. Once we have final dates for you, I will share that with you as well.
December's over.
Did I say December? April 2026.
I feel like today is Monday all over again, y'all.
Thank you. Okay, I feel better then because yeah, it's just
Thank you, Derma. So for Pueblo, the only update is that I finally have a date for community engagement at the Anita Martinez Recreation Center. That's April 1st. And it's going to be a community meeting at 10 in the morning. So it's just new information.
Singing Hills, we are, if you move forward to the next slides, two of them, that's what's going to look like. We are knee deep, like really deep in fabrication. Next slide, please. I was out there This is the wiring program. So we've been dealing with the electricals out there. We're going to have solar lights. So this is a little bit different from our usual. Next slide, please. I was out there mapping out the foundation with a nice piece of thread of wool donated by my colleagues to draw that circle with spray paint. And I had the artist on video call to figure out and measure out where we will put the battery box that will store the solar lights. And just to draw out where the foundation will likely be to get the most visibility from the access road and the senior center and the hiking trail. The polycarbonate is already with the fabricator. The steel has been bent, so we're moving ahead and fast too.
For Cleaver Riley, can we move to the next one, please? I was also out there measuring, not with string, but I was able to visit the site again with our newly assigned project manager from Parks to identify a better location for the piece. As you remember, this is the redesigned new agave shade bench from Carol May and her fabricator. And we've identified with the artist as well, doing a FaceTime session with Parks as well, identifying the new location. Is basically between the trail and the water park. So there are about 45 feet that she can actually use. And she used those measurements to finalize her information, to send that over for her engineering drawings to be done, which is basically done, due next week. So it's also moving. I don't really have a big update for Audubon right now. I just kind of listed our known schedule from Parks that the design funds and construction funds will be available October 2026 and then October 2027 respectively. So given this timeline, we are tentatively planning to launch community engagement the summer of 2026. We'll see how that timeline holds given the construction schedule from Parks.
Cotillion Park will be my new project, and please, if anyone feels inspired to be the PAC liaison for this one. Council District 9. Too far?
Think about that for our
Yep.
April meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Forest Green is again fully going on. The artist was told that we have FIFA in town. He wants to install before FIFA. So right now it's actually the libraries holding it up because they don't trust into our electrical drawings. Next slide, please. So this is what it's going to be in the new location. And you look, next one. We've looked into the geo reports for the site. There's enough drill probes there. We don't need any other geotechnical borings, but they didn't trust what we suggested for the electrical wiring. So they brought in their whole facilities, real estate and maintenance team, and we had meetings out there. And I think they're satisfied now. I hope they're satisfied now. So we're waiting to hear on just to get their go ahead because the artist is ready to fabricate. He's there. We're under contract. We're good to go. The moment we hear from them, we'll do that. And it will ship in May. If we get the go ahead now, it will ship to us in May and be installed end of May.
For Willie B. Johnson, we had our second selection panel meeting. Some of you attended. Thank you so much for that. And the selection panel identified a finalist. We asked the artist for some reviews to the budget that was proposed. Those were sent back with an addendum to an adjustment to the budget and the design. We didn't present this artist today because of that, and also because the artists are in Sicily. So when they come back, we'll finally present to you the finalist in April.
Did you say for all the artists or a artist?
It's a group, it's a collaborative, it's a two-person collaboration. It's a team.
That's who you guys selected from that group? Okay, I was on that. Okay.
Oh, you were part of it.
That was an
Thank you.
interesting group.
Keller's.
The roundabout at Keller Springs, we wrapped up community engagement already. We also were able to provide a very preliminary request for qualifications to CM Mendelssohn's office for her review. Seems that she was very happy with what we have so far. So we'll be planning launching the or publishing the request for qualifications here in the next few weeks. And now that we've wrapped up community engagement as well. We just need to go back and make the awful trip all the way back to the dog park to collect our yard signs.
Wait, up in that area, you have signs up in that? area?
Yes,
I can get them. That's not very far from me.
Oh,
I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Survey that was open until the last of these past month. I think the next one is Campbell. Yeah. So for Campbell Green, I'm actually going to be around that area. It's really close by the roundabout. I'm going to do office hours at the Campbell Green Center. And I was just invited to join their, what they call it, walk chalk or something like that. Because this renovation is going to require patrons to not come to the center for some time. So they're very sad about this because it's going to be closed for some time. And they decided to do this kind of nostalgia, kind of memory lane activity. So it's arts related, and they invited me to participate. It's in May. And they're going to ask people for memories, ask kids to draw, their best times at the rec center, just like bring those ideas kind of in a hopeful way to, invite them again when the renovation is completed. Hey, wait, I might do that.
Nope, Vickery Park, we're waiting on the contract. It's sitting with the city attorneys. They promised it for March 11, hopefully. In the meantime, I'm very grateful for the artist Victor Quiñones. Next slide, please. Next 2 slides. He actually came out while he was because he's the artist that did the outdoor installation here at the LCC. So when he was here for his talk for that, we did a site visit and we clambered around the roof, as you can see, and met with the library people. He took measurements. He's already in touch with his fabricator, all without being under contract. So I'm really, really grateful for him for doing that, because once the contract comes through, we should be ready, because he, again, wants to install this summer. That's And Preston Royal, next slide will be empty, but let's look at it, because I did the community meeting out there with the Friends of the Library. I did a presentation with the library director out there, and we did a big ask if they would contribute a donation to the budget for the art project so we can bring the budget up. We're at only 84,000, and the building is fantastic. It's an old mid-century modern building that really deserves a matching wonderful artwork. So we're on the works with that, but I forgot to take pictures of the meeting. So that's yeah, that's true. You were there too. So it's not just on me. The community survey for feedback is open. We had plenty of feedback on there, but we will take until we basically start fabricating. And yeah, the call is closing tomorrow for the artists.
And here's where I want to compliment my team. The architectural firm is asking our public art team for the feedback that they're getting from the community. So we do a great job with community engagement there.
Quick update for you. As you recall, our artist Julia Owsley is redesigning the artwork out at Walnut Hill Recreation Center. I expect her redesign to be turned in by the end of this week. I'll share with the design and proposal with the Parks Department so that they can provide any comments or feedback. And then I should have something more substantial for you to look at in April. I mean, and PAC liaison for this one too. But But you don't have to give it to, if, consider it, maybe, bring it back for the April meeting. I know everyone, a lot of
It's a
asks
cool location,
today.
though.
And to wrap it up, we had our selection panel. They all reviewed all 87 ones that were qualified to be reviewed. They submitted all their rankings, and Mag and Lynn and myself will be meeting hopefully in the next week to announce the winners of the first Sidewalk Poetry Project contest that we had, submittals. It's exciting times. Yeah.
Selected poets. We will be announcing the selected poets.
Not the winners. Yes.
Yes, we had that conversation with one of them.
Next slide. As fast as you can.
If there are updates we want to hear, if not, we can go back and visit you. Great. My whole chair report is that we have a meeting on April 7th. Next month. See you the first Tuesday of the month. Anything else? Oh,
Just to wrap up, I want to bookend this meeting with, don't forget, we're creating a special call meeting for the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission, specifically on learning about public art. We're very excited to tell you everything about how the public art process works. The two dates in consideration are April 28th or 29th. That date will be discovered and sent forth to you, and we appreciate everyone's hard work.
great. Do any other questions, comments, anything?
Hey, Madam Chair, real quick, and
Yes.
this might be a tiny, like, insignificant thing, but on the Crockett Dog Park dedication invitation, it says North Carroll, which I believe goes to I want to say a residence
Yeah,
building
it's
or
a former
something.
school that is
That's-
now an apartment building, but that's the closest there. If you want to park
Okay.
well, go to Victor Street and Alcalde Street, that intersection, that's where easy parking will be.
Okay, so I just wanted to be clear that was correct for North Carroll,
Yep.
and it instead, but will we be going over to South Carroll, the dog park, walking over there, or?
Well, the former school building is literally, you can walk straight there, but if you want to park nearby, the best is Victor and Alcalde Street. And we will cone off a lot of parking for you guys, so.
Are you asking if it's North Carroll or South Carroll?
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit, because Crockett Dog Park itself is South Carroll, and then the invitation is North Carroll. So I thought maybe that's where the parking is, or we're having a reception there, or that's where we're meeting. I just
No,
want to be clear.
We want you to actually be at the dog park and
Okay.
not somewhere else. So if that is not correct, we will address that invitation ASAP.
Yeah, it might be very
Proving-
minor, but just it might be something to look at.
Proving yet again, lat long is the only way to go.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, if not, I call this meeting adjourned at 6:04. Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Great.